given to understand a kalpa, whatever we are using in our practice, in our clinics. So it's an ongoing process actually. It never ends. What understanding what we are doing and what we need to do in our clinics, it's an ongoing process. So it's really a nice thing that we will thoroughly understand the kalpas, which are some of them, but at least we will understand them thoroughly, how we are using and why we are using, etc. So we'll start with the presentation. We had a subject called Bhaishajya Kalpana. We had it in the second year of our curriculum. Now these new students or these new practitioners must be having like in third year or like that. But Bhaishajya Kalpana we had is this in our curriculum, and we used to study it in various ways. But one of the very common way of understanding the kalpa or memorizing the kalpa used to be making some various different sentences to remember the ingredients in that. And now when we it's really funny, now when we are doing practice, it was not thorough understanding, but we are now trying to understand it thoroughly, these kalpas which are there, which we are using. So what is a kalpa? First of all, the name of the series is Kalpabhyas. So what is a kalpa or what is kalpana? We have kalpasthan in Ashtanga Hridaya, Kalpasiddhisthan and Ashtanga Hridaya and Ashtanga Sangraha, and we have kalpasthan in Charaka Samhita. So first of all, we will understand what is the meaning of kalpa or kalpana. So kalpa or kalpana, if we go to dictionary meaning of this word, is kalpa or kalpana, it's a way, it's a method. The dictionary meaning of these words is way, method, preparing, forming, making or arranging. So kalpa or kalpana is whatever we are preparing, we are forming, we are making or arranging the Bhaishajya, that is the kalpa. Basically, in this kalpa or kalpana, there is a root verb. Some of you may be knowing something about Sanskrit. So root verb is dhatu. If you remember something about this, that is dhatu. Dhatu is klupa. Klupa is a dhatu, which means this dhatu is Sanskrit dhatu. This dhatu is not a dhatu like rasa, rakta, mausa, meda, etc. So what does this dhatu mean? This dhatu means that to be fit or adequate for. So kalpa, any kalpa, is not just a mixture of many herbs or many medicines. It's a mixture which should be adequate, which should be fit for the disease or the avastha which you are using. So it should be fit, it should be adequate, it should be enough to cure, or it should be a good solution, proper solution, the right solution, apt solution for whatever you want to do, for the purpose for which you are doing it, you are using it. So that is the meaning of kalpa actually if you go by Sanskrit meaning. So klupa kalpa is the basic dhatu or the root verb in it. So it means that whatever you prepare, whatever you arrange, whatever you mix, or whatever you do the samskar, that is the processing on that kalpa, it should be adequate, it should be fit, it should be enough for serving the purpose for whatever you are doing, whatever you want to serve the purpose, whatever you want to do with this kalpa. So going further, if we want to learn the kalpa, or if we want to study the kalpa properly, what should you do? Some lectures I have attended in this series, and many of them have told about it. I will repeat it again here. That we want to study a kalpa, what should be the process of studying it? Should we take the kalpa? We should read it. we should go through the ingredients, the Falashruti, the Rogadhikar, and that will be enough. No. First of all, what is needed to understand a kalpa thoroughly is given in this stanza or in this verse, that Rogamadav pariksheta tato nantaram aushadam tatah karma bhishak paschat jnanapurvam samachayet. So what we need to do, Rogamadav pariksheta. First of all, everyone has told this Adav. In the beginning, you have to do the examination of the roga. Tato anantaram aushadam. Then you have to examine the aushadam. Tatah karma bhishak paschat jnanapurvam samachayet. So the physician should do whatever he wants to treat the disease. After that, use that kalpa with the proper knowledge, with the proper reasoning. So Rogamadho Pariksheta, in this, we are examining, we are knowing the disease, and equally is important, you have to include it in the roga, the word roga, rugna also, the vyadhi and vyadhita. So you have to understand the vyadhi properly, and also you have to understand the vyadhita, because it is very important to understand the vyadhita, that is the rugna, because we are studying the roga, the vyadhi, from the text that you may be studying from Madhav Nidan, or you may be studying it from classical text like Charak Sushruta Bhagavad. So you are studying the roga, you are studying the vyadhi. But many a times we see that there is no book picture. When a patient approaches us, we see that there is not the book picture. If we have studied many vyadhis very deeply, but everything may not help you in the clinic. So you have to study the rugna also, the vyadhi, the person also. So rogam adav pariksheta, first of all you have to examine the roga, and equally important, you are including another word in this roga, that rugna, the vyadhita. So how you are going to examine it? Examine the person, a patient. So that also it has been spoken about in this lecture series, that we have seen it. Dusham desham balam kalam analam prakritim vaya satvam satvam tatha haram avastha sukshma sukshma samikshesham doshaushad nirupane yo vartate chikitsayam nasas kaluti jatichi. So doshaushad nirupana, for fixing the dosha and aushadha for it, you have to understand the rugna, the vyadhi, from where he is living, and what is the rutu, that is the season when he has approached us, etc. So rogam and rugna. So roga, the disease, and the deceased person, that is vyadhita, we are examining. Tato nantaram aushadam. Then we have to examine the aushadha. How will we examine the aushadha? Is there any method to examine the aushadha? I just keep on asking questions, though we are not before each other. Still, it gives some stimulation to our thinking process. So I will keep on asking questions. I don't expect any answer, of course, from you, but it gives a stimulation to our thinking process. So how will we how will you examine the aushadha? Is there any stanza, any verse, any reference told in our classical text? So yes, it is there. It is in Charaka Vimanasthan 8th Adhyaya. If you remember that they have whenever we are doing any work in Charaka Vimanasthan 8th Adhyaya, they have told that you have to go through 10 Dashavidha Pariksha. So they have told that Karana, Karana, Karya Yoni, Karya Phala. So in that they have told this Karana is Bhishak, Karana is Punar Bheshajam, Karanam Punar Bheshajam, Karana is Bheshajam. So how is this Bheshaja examined? How you should know properly, thoroughly about this Bheshaja or Aushadha? So what they tell is there that with the permission of organizers, I am trying to elaborately tell how to understand the kalpa, then we will move to Dadi Madhigrutam. Okay. So Yattu Dravya Bhutam Tad Gomanadishu Yogam. So whatever Dravya Bhuta medicine or Bheshaja, how we should examine it. What they have told is Idam Evam Prakrutya. So iska swabhav kya hai? Idam Evam Gunam. Iske gun kya hai? What are the attributes of this? idam evam prabhavam, what are the prabhav which can't be explained on the basis of the attributes. So iska prabhav kya hai? अस्मिन देशे जातम, where it has been grown, किस देश में इसका इसकी निर्मित ये बढ़ा है, ये ग्रो हुआ है. अस्मिन ऋतु, इस ऋतु में ये बढ़ा है, इस ऋतु में it has grown in this season and it has been collected एवं गृहीतम, इस प्रकार से ये कलेक्ट किया गया. एवं निहितम, in this way it was kept, in this way it was processed. Upaskruta evam upaskrutam, in this way it was processed and anaya matraya, and in this quantity it was used. Yuktam asmin vyadhau, in this disease it was used. Evam vidhasya purushasya, it was used in this type of a person or a patient, it was used. Etavantam dosham apakarshayati, so this expels out this much amount of dosha from the body, or it upashamayati, or it pacifies this much amount of dosha. Yaccha anyadapi bheshajam bhavet taccha anena visheshana yuktam, and any other medicine which is similar to this, that also you have to study. So when you say that I want to examine, I want to know Aushadha thoroughly, you have to follow all this process which is told in Charaka Vimanasthan Ektadhyay. So whatever I am telling you, I am saying that it's a discussion now. You are all, most of you are practitioners, and it's like we can call it Tadvidya Sambhasha. So it's a type of discussion and it's a co-learning process. So next slide, we will go to the next slide. So in the co-learning process of ours. So now coming to Dadimadhikrita, we will first of all see the references of Dadimadhikrita, where it has been told. So first of all, references which we all know are from Panduroga Chikitsa. So one reference we get from Charaka Chikitsa Sthan 16th Adhyay, 16th chapter. It's 44 to 46 stanzas or verses are there. For Panduroga Chikitsa, Ashtanga Sangraha Chikitsa, in 18th chapter it is told Dadimadhikrita is, we find the reference of Dadimadhikrita, and the third reference we find in Ashtanga Hridaya Chikitsa Sthan in Panduroga Chikitsa. So all these three references which I have put in this slide are from Panduroga Chikitsa. Of course, I was working on Triskandha Kosh, so it's a very gigantic project and it gives lot of references which we are not thinking about, which we may miss while reading the Samhitas, but Triskandha Kosh helps us to go to these minute and small references. So there are some more Dadimadhikrita, I will just mention them here. How to study any kalpa, that I am just telling. So Dadimadhikrita, there are some other references also. Some other references which we get from Chardi Rudroga Trishna Chikitsa. Dadimadhikrita is told in that Adhikar also, Chardi Rudroga Trishna Adhikar, for pacifying Vataja Chardi. For Vataja Chardi, they have told a Dadimadhikrita which contains some contents are same, like Dadima is there, Shunthi is there, also Dadhi is added there. So in Charak Vagbhat Chikitsa 6th chapter, it is told in Chardi Rudroga Trishna Chikitsa in that Adhikar for Vataja Chardi. Another reference of Dadimadhikrita we get in Kas Chikitsa, Kshaya Kas, it is there in Vagbhat, that is Ashtanga Hridaya also, and it is there in Sangraha, Ashtanga Sangraha also. So Kshatakshaya Adhikar or Kshayaja Kas, we find another reference of Dadimadhikrita here. So this is another Dadimadhikrita in which there is Trikatu and Dadima, etc. Another reference we get of Dadimadhikrita is from Sangraha Chikitsa, Shotha Adhikar. So that is another Dadimadhikrita which we are going to talk about now. Here is Dadimadhikrita and Panduroga Chikitsa. So we'll now go further to the next slide. So we are going to talk about the Dhruta, Dadimadhikrita. So first of all, we'll see the stanza, most of you must be knowing this, must have read it or memorized it by heart in our college days also. It is Dadimat Kudavo Dhanyat Kudavardham Palam Palam Chitrakat Shungaverach Pippalyashtamika Tatha Taihi Kalkaihi Vimshati Palam Vrutasya Saliladake Siddham Rutparshu Gulmarsha Plihavata Kafartinut Deepanam Shwasakasagnam Mudhavate Shasyate Dukha Prasavininam cha Vandhyanam chaiva Garbhadam. So there are the ingredients spoken of. Ingredients are dadima, kudar. There are everything we are going to see later. So this type of gruta is prepared. It's medicated, and it is useful in various ailments or various conditions or diseases like Shwaskas, Mudhavat, Dukha Prasavini, and Vandhya. For Dukha Prasavini, I will say something. Vandhya, you can understand that in infertility, female infertility, it can be used. Dukha Prasavini Nam, in the commentary of Dukha Prasavini Nam in Ashtanga Sangraha, it is said that Ya Dukkhena Prasuyate. But so there is a confusing thing that it should be used. If there is a problem in conceiving, it should be used, or if there is a problem in delivery, it should be used. So my opinion is, though they have said dukkhena prasuyante, who have problem in conceiving, I'll say Vandhya is total infertility. They are not conceiving at all. And Dukha Prasavini is that they have not a problem only in prasuti, but problem in getting conceived. That is, not conceived, that they are getting conceived, but some problem happens, like there is some abnormality in the fetus, so they have to abort the fetus, or there are some fetal abnormalities seen. So the female is conceived and it goes smoothly up to the delivery. That doesn't happen. So that may be the meaning. I don't know what is the meaning, because I haven't used in Dukha Prasavini type of, or I haven't thought of it. But if I have to what you can say, interpret it, Dukha Prasavini I will interpret not related to delivery, but related to mainly after conception up to delivery. There may be having some problems like Garbhapat, Srav, or other problems like related to the fetal abnormalities like IUGR or whatever are there. So I actually don't know the meaning of, and it is not found properly in the Tika also. Now, before going further to the ingredients and their efficacy and how it is, how we can say that this kalpa is efficient in this type of ailment or disease. Before that, first of all, I would like to explain or say something about this type of formulation. This type of formulation is Sneha Paka Kalpana. And in Sneha Paka Kalpana, there are various Sneha Paka Kalpana which we can prepare with various Sneha. Dhruta, Taila, Vasa, Majja. These are the main Sneha which we can say that they are called Shrestha, the best ones. With those Dhruta, Taila, Vasa, Majja, we can prepare Sneha Paka. And sometimes we can prepare Sneha Paka, that is Siddha Sneha, with Yamaka Sneha, that is 2 of them together, Trivrit Sneha, 3 of them together, or Mahasneha, that is 4 of them, all of them together. So in this way, Sneha Paka Kalpana is prepared. But in this context, in the context of Dadimadi Gruta, we are going to talk about Gruta Kalpana. So Sneha Paka Kalpana and Gruta Kalpana. So first of all, we should know what is the importance of Sneha Paka Kalpana and what is the importance of Gruta Kalpana, what we are talking about. Most of the times I have seen in practice of many people that churna, gutti, vatti, kwath, prepared, like ready kwath, etc. are used a lot. and it is said that it is the um, end users, that is the patient's ease, for the ease of the patient, we don't use sneha kalpana, snehapaka kalpana or vruta kalpana, taila kalpana to the extent which it should be used. Why it should be used and what is the reason and the thinking behind it, I will elaborate, I will tell about it. So, as I told you, I have I have worked on Triskanda Kosh project, and just out of curiosity yesterday, as I am going to present um, this Dadi Madi Gruta I was going to present today. So just out of curiosity, I just thought I should just get the count, get the number of various kalpas from Bruhatrai. I have got Aushadha Kosh with me. So I just referred the Aushadha Kosh. In Aushadha Kosh, in the Parishishta, I don't know, some of you have referred Triskanda Kosh. Are you using Triskanda Kosh? I don't know. But if you are not using, you can use it, helps a lot in practice. So when I referred this, I saw in this Triskanda Kosh, that is Aushadha Kosh, there are Triskanda, that is Hetu Kosh, Lakshan Kosh and Aushad Kosh. So I saw for this Dadi Madi Gruta and all those Sneha Paka Kalpana and Gruta Kalpana in Triskanda Kosh. So in Triskanda Kosh, I just counted last night. I counted the numbers of various kalpas. So it was not very surprising for me. I was expecting the number. So I found out that Gruta Kalpanas are 1,185 Gruta Kalpanas are there. I haven't I counted every Gruta Kalpana, so there may be Dadi Madi Gruta may have come thrice, same Dadi Madi Gruta, but I just counted the number, I just wanted to know the number. So I counted the Gruta Kalpanas, so they were 1185, Churna Kalpanas I counted, they were 720, Taila Kalpanas I counted, they were 722, Vatha Kalpanas I counted, they were 683, Avaleha Kalpanas I counted, they were 596, Gutika, various Gutika tablets, Kalpana I counted, they were 138. There are many other Kalpanas in Aushadha Kosha. We can see that Agada Kalpana, Akshara Kalpana, so Arishta. I didn't have time that much to count every. But I am sure that the number of Kalpana, that is the Gruta Kalpana, is the highest in Bruhatrai. So number of Taila Kalpana is below that. So the second number, on first number there is Gruta Kalpana, on second number there is Taila Kalpana, Taila Kalpana. So we can see, and afterwards all Churna Kalpana, Vatha Kalpana, Avaleha, Gutika, etc., Asava, Arishta, they are all coming. So they are very less in number. So what we are using in our practices, I know that this theme is for clinical practice. I am expected to talk more about Dadi Madi Gruta, but I am coming to that point. But I think this is very important to understand for every practitioner, that why what we are doing and what should be done. Some, I am not saying about all. Some may be using this Sneha Kalpana and Gruta Kalpana, etc., a lot in their practices. But most of the times, what I have seen and what I want to emphasize is that Gruta Kalpana and Taila Kalpana are the highest numbers, especially Gruta Kalpana. In the classical text, I am not saying anything about this Bhaishajya Ratnavali. They are good books, Sahasra Yoga, etc. But I am referring to the classical text, the Bruhatrai. So Gruta Kalpana is the highest number, and Sneha Kalpana overall is the highest number in this counting. It was found out, and it was not very surprising for me. So why this Sneha Kalpana is important, why this Gruta Kalpana is important, and why is this number so high in the Bruhatrai? So we will first of all go to next slides, and then I will talk about all these things again. So Sneha Paka Kalpana, as we saw that Sneha Paka Kalpana, Sneha Gruta Taila Masamajja are the main Snehas, important Snehas, which are concentrated with the Snigdha Guna. So they are the best as compared to Dadhi, that is curds and milk and etc. So first of all, we'll go through the effects of Snehana. Effects of Snehana, what are they? Snehana, there are various references of Snehana. One, Snehana is one of the treatment modality or therapeutic modality. We have studied 6 upakrama: Snehana, Rukshana, Langhana, Bruhana, Svedana, Stambhana. So one of them important one is Snehana. So what does that do? Snehana, what does it do? Snehanam, Sneha Vishyanda, Mardava, Kledakarakam. That we know from Charak Sutrastha. What does Snehana do? What are the effects of Snehana in the body? It gives Sneha, it gives anxiousness or oleation to the body parts. It gives abhishanda, it creates abhishanda, moistens the body parts. It gives rise to oozing or trickling. अभिषंद को जन्म देता है, अभिषंद निर्माण करता है. मार्दव, that is, it gives softness to the body parts, it softens the body parts. Kledakarakam, just we saw that it is creating the kleda. Then what does Sneha do? Another some stanzas we will go through before going to Dadimadi Gruta. Sneho nilam hanti mrudu kariti deham malanam minihanti sangam. This is from Charak Siddhistha. स्नेहो नीलम हंति मृदु करोति देहम मलाना मिनिहंति संगम स्निग्धस्य सूक्ष्मेषु अयनेषु लीनम स्वेदस्तु दोषम नयति द्रवत्वम. So स्नेहो अनिलम हंति, स्नेह, any, it may be घृत, it may be vasa, it may be majja, it may be taila. It pacifies vata, it gives softness to the body, it gives it removes, as we saw here, it removes the sanga, mala sanga nashan. It removes the binding, the malas, that is the doshas are bound to various shakha, marma, etc., dusha, organs, and they are sticking there. So when we give snehana, this sneha, by giving smooth softness to the body parts, it makes a situation, a condition in the body that the malas which are sticking there, they are removed, they get separated. And this reference is from Siddhisthan. First reference was from Sutrastha. So it is telling only about whatever in general Snehana does. This second reference is from Siddhisthan. We know that Siddhisthan is for understanding Vamana and Virechana and all the things related to that. So here it is important to emphasize on the function of Sneha in context with the Vamana and Virechana, that is Shodhana Prakriya. So here it is important to tell, it was important to tell that what does it do in that context. So it removes the sanga of mala, that is the mala is sticking to various body parts, and it removes that sanga without removing that sanga, without separating it, separating the doshas from wherever they are sticking to. You can't go further, you can't move to the shodhana, that is Vaman or Virechan karna hai. So pehle snehan is very very important, inevitable, स्नेहन करना ही है. उसके बाद after that the whatever you are doing that will be fruitful, that will give you good results. Otherwise आप हानि कर रहे हो शरीर की, you are giving some harm to the body. So some another things from Bhagavad also we can we all know. दीप्तांतराग्नि परिशुद्ध कोष्ठः प्रत्यग्र धातुर बलवर्ण युक्तः Dhodendriyo mandajarasyatayuk snehopasevi purusha pradishta. Whatever the purusha, that person who gets snehana chikitsa, or who is consuming sneha, that is oil or ghee or other snehas, he is shatayu, he has long life. The sneha gives strength to dhatus and the body, strengthens the senses. Mrudu karana, it softens the body parts, it kindles the digestive fire. Agni deepan hai, prolongs the onset of aging. Varanya ayush. So these many are the effects of snehana. Next we will go to Ghruta, which will just go fast through the attributes of Ghruta. Doshodhanata is Vatagna, Kapagna, kindles digestive fire. So most of them are like similar to sneha, but some are different. Nourishes dhatus, especially rasa, rakta, shukra, softens body parts, soothing, beneficial for health of eyes, old persons, children, debilitated persons, and persons desiring healthy progeny, etc., etc. Enhances voice and etc. It's good for wounds, poisons, toxic effects, enhances the strength of the sensory organs. All these attributes and functions of Dhruta are there. Now coming back to the importance of Sneha Kalpana, as I told you in Brihatrayi, I found out more than 1000 Dhruta Kalpana and more than 700 Taila Kalpana and other Vasa etc. I didn't count. Yeah, Yamaka Sneha, Trivruta Sneha etc. I didn't count. But it's a high count. So what does that mean? Why is it so? Hmm? So for understanding Dadi Madhikruta, this is all important. What I am making your foundation, I am making the background of Dadi Madhikruta. So why is this important? Why this Sneha Chikitsa is important? What do we achieve by giving this Snehana or Sneha Chikitsa? So Sneha, what is Sneha in the body? Sneha, I am just getting a pause, just you should think. स्नेह जो है, स्नेह को ही बल बोला है. स्नेह जो है वो देह का सार है. So whatever concentrated good things, best things in the body are स्नेह. स्नेह शरीर का बल है. स्नेह ही ओज को भी स्नेह बोला है. स्नेह देह सार है. राजयक्ष्मा की चिकित्सा जब शुरू की है, in that they have said that स्नेह परीक्षयात, इंदोह स्नेह परीक्षयात, इंदु जो चंद्र था उनका स्नेह का परीक्षय हो गया. So उनकी बॉडी कम होते गई. He lost his weight, you can say. He became Krusha. And in the commentary you can see that Sneha means it's Dehasar. Dehasara Sneha Kshaya was Dehasara Kshaya. So this much importance is given to Sneha and it is there. It's not only given. So when we are treating a patient, Snehana Chikitsa becomes a very important Chikitsa. Whatever we are doing in patient, as we all know that Prayoga Shumayad Vyadhi Mekam Yonya Mudiraye, Naso Vishuddha Shuddha Sushumayad Yona Kopayet. So the treatment which pacifies or subsides one disease and gives rise to another is not Shuddha Chikitsa. So it's very important while we are treating any patient. It may be a patient of Prameha, it may be a patient of Udar, it may be a patient or simple any disease. It's or maybe Jwara also. In Jwara it is talked of that Baladhishthanam Arogyam Tadarthoyam Kriyakramaha. So whatever we are treating is for Bala of the patient. So Baladhishthanam Arogyam, Arogya, that is the health, is dependent, is supported on Bala of the patient, the strength of the patient, and whatever we are doing is for the strength, establishing the strength of the patient. So our chikitsa, most of the times we see that Butika, Kwath, etc. They are not, I'm not saying that treatment type is bad, but we are using kalpanas which don't have sneha in that, and that can create rukshana and balanasha or balahani. So we have to be cautious about that while we are treating, like you maybe in my practice I use very little things like kalpas like Chandraprabha and Gugulu Kalpa and many. All these kalpas, Arogyavardhini, Sudhshekha, Rasa Kalpa, they are very less in my practice. While we are using, we should be very cautious. Chandraprabha, for example, is very ruksha kalpa. So while we are using such kalpas, such formulations, we should be cautious always that we are not giving rise to any another disease while we are treating the patient. So Sneha Kalpana in that context, in that view, is very important, that Sneha gives bala to the body, and we can, when Sneha Kalpana, what is Sneha Kalpana or what is Gruta Kalpana? We are medicating the Sneha or Gruta with medicines, various herbs or medicines, whatever we are, Jangama, Udbhuta, Parthiva, whatever we are using, and we are medicating it. So whatever aushadha which we have selected is going with sneha, that is whatever the thing which is going to give or which is going to maintain the strength, the bala of the body. So in this sense, this Snehana Chikitsa is very important. I will, in next slides, I will come to and talk about speciality of Bhuta Kalpana, specificity, distinctive things about Bhuta Kalpana afterwards. So what is the purpose of Snehan as a therapeutic modality? What is the purpose of Snehan? Effects of Snehan we saw that we want to give Sneha, anxiousness or oleation to the body, etc. We saw that. But as a therapeutic modality, when we are using Snehana, what we want to do, what we want to create. So it is used for Shodhana, it is used for Shamana, or it is used for Bruhana. So various purposes, to serve these purposes, we are using this Snehana Chikitsa as a therapeutic modality. So for this Snehana Chikitsa, we are choosing two ways or two modes of giving Snehana to the patient. We may use Achapana, that all of you know, and we may use Vicharana Sneha. So Achapana, in that there is Pradhana Matra, Madhyama Matra and Hasva Matra. In Vagbhat also it is told, in Charaka Samhita also it is told that Pradhana, Madhyama and Matra, and in which conditions, for which patients and for which purpose you should use Pradhana Matra, Madhyama Matra and Hasva Matra. All the things are told there. If we time permits, we may talk about it afterwards, but we have to go further because we are running out of time, I think. So Pradhana, Madhyama and Rasva Matra are given for Achchapan. Achchapan, you remember, all of you remember, Achchapan is Kevala Sneha. It is said that Sneha se kalpasya shrestha. ये श्रेष्ठ कल्प है स्नेहन का, माने सबसे ज्यादा स्नेह, to its fullest you can say, is achieved by अच्छपान. अच्छपान से पूरे शरीर को पूरी तरह स्निग्धता मिल पाती है, इसलिए ये अच्छपान जो है that is called as श्रेष्ठ कल्प, श्रेष्ठ मेथड, बेस्ट मेथड of giving sneha to the body, and it has again in three quantities it can be given, pradhana, madhyama and rasva. And another mode of giving sneha now or giving this treatment to the patient is vicharana sneha. It is there are 24 vicharana sneha. Odanascha vilepi, you all know that with the odana vilepi, raso mausam mausaras, दूध या वागु etc. के साथ या अभ्यंग बस्ती, नस्य, गंडूश, कर्णपूरण, उत्तर बस्ती. In these modes also, in these methods also, you can administer say sneha in the body. So this is ये गौड़ है स्नेह कल्प जो श्रेष्ठ बताया अच्छपान से. Now with this background of Snehana Bhuta Kalpana, I have left something topic to talk about Bhuta Kalpana, but Sneha Paka, what is the importance of Sneha, what is the importance of Bhuta Kalpana. With all this background and for foundation, we are now coming to Dadi Madhibhuta. So first of all, we will see the ingredients of Dadi Madhibhuta. Dadima Dhanyaka, as we have seen the verse, the stanza, Dadima Dhanyaka Chitraka Shunthi Pippali, Gruta and water are the contents. See, you can see that contents are not lot, not many. In some grutas or some kwatha or gutika or in many, there are lot of contents, or no, not contents, ingredients. So here the ingredients, the number of ingredients is limited. Quantity of ingredients. Dadima is 1 kudava, 160 grams approximately. Dhanyaka is half kudava, 80 grams approximately. Chitraka is pala, 40 grams approximately. Shunthi is pala, 40 grams approximately. Pippali is ashtamika, that is 20 grams. Gruta is 20 pala and water is 256 ml. So, or adhaka. So, process of preparing this Dadi Madhibhuta, we all know the process of Gruta Siddhi and Taila Siddhi. So, we all mix this, we all mixing all these ingredients and putting it on fire, low fire, etc. and seeing the Siddhi Pariksha, in which we can see that Yada Fenodbhavas Tele Fena Shantisha Sarkishu, etc. पेन शांत हो जाता है घृत कल्पना की सिद्धि में अंत में, etc. That we will see, and that then we will filter this Dadi Madi Ghruta. One thing important I want to tell here, that many times we can see in Bruhatrayi that if a particular quantity of any Ghruta is told that you have to prepare in this quantity only, it is expected in Basti also, it is like that. It is expected that that whole quantity is for that specific particular patient, one patient, one रुग्ण, एक रुग्ण के लिए वो पूरी क्वांटिटी एक्चुअली होती है. दैट इज एक्सपेक्टेड एक्चुअली इन द बृहत्रय. ये पूरा का पूरा इस एक व्यक्ति के लिए यूज करना है. यू हैव टू यूज दैट only for that person. In Basti also they have told whatever that Putaka and etc. and whole quantity has to be used for one person. आजकल हम we buy 200 ml of Dadi Madi Ghruta most of the times and use it and give it to the patient, but it's not the real practice in according to Bruhatrayi. Efficacy as in the classical text. So what the stanza we saw, we'll just see the efficacy, what are the diseases it can cure. So it is Vatagna and Kafagna. So Vata Kafaja diseases, Vikara, it can be used. It's Agni Deepan, it's Mudha Vata Anuloman. It is good, or it can be used in Rudrok, Pandu, Gulma, Liha, Lihavruti, Shwas, Kas, Vandyatva, or difficult delivery. I have just translated Dukha Prasavini, but I don't agree with difficult delivery. As I told you, from conception to delivery, some problems may be happening, so you have to use it before conceiving. Actually, what is my interpretation about it? So the patient shouldn't face these problems. So for that, it should be used before conception for solving the problems and Bija Shuddhi, etc. etc. So that is the meaning of difficult delivery, what I feel about Dukha Prasavini. Now here it is important to understand that this is Pandu, this is in Pandu Adhikar, Pandu Vyadhi, but it can be used in various other diseases or avastha conditions also. But as it has been said previously in this lecture series, that this will not be, may not be, I am not saying always not be, but this may not be a drug of choice, say in Gulma Chikitsa. But if Gulma and Pandu is Vyadhi Sankar, or Pandu is व्याधि, एक व्याधि जो है दूसरे व्याधि का निदान होता है, one व्याधि gives rise to another व्याधि. So Pandu is the reason of Gulma, and sometimes it is said that हेतु बन के पहला व्याधि खत्म हो जाता है, या it is there still, it sustains, it is still there. So both of them are there in the body. So in such conditions, this would be a drug of choice. Like व्याधि संकर है, या फिर एक व्याधि पांडु की वजह से अदर व्याधि निर्माण हो रहे. I am not saying that you will not be able to use it at all, but most of the times we can say that this is the reasoning of Falashruti. Why these particular diseases or elements or avastha come in that Falashruti. So before proceeding to how it is effective or how it can be used in these diseases which are spoken of in the Falashruti, before that we'll just have some analysis, have some table presentation of the Rasavirya Vipak and gunas of all these ingredients. So we will have a look at all these things. I didn't mention the shlokas, etc. So tabular presentation would be more appealing, or you can more understand from this table presentation. So Dadima, we'll first of all see about the Rasavirya Vipak of the ingredients. So here Dadima, we can say that it is Amla and Madhura. There are various types of Dadima told in various Samhitas. Have told that there is Amla Dadima, Madhura Dadima, Amla Madhura Dadima, and accordingly the functions change. But Amla Dadima and Madhura Dadima, I have taken these two rasas here. So it's mainly Amla or Madhura, slightly Amla and Madhura we can say. Amla Dadima is more Pittakar, not Pittakar, but it's not that much Pitta Shamana according to Charak Sushrut Adhyayas of Annapana Vidhi, etc. Dhanya ka rasa of Dhanya ke is Kashaya Katu and Pitta. Chitrak is Katu. Shungi is Katu. Pippali is Katu. In Vipak we can see that Dadima, I have written here Madhura Vipak, but everywhere it is not told. You can, in Sushrut they have told Amla Vipaki. They have prepared a group of many fruits like Dadima and they tell that they are all Amla Vipaki. In Dhanyaka, it is Madhura Vipak, though it is Kashaya Katu, it is Vipak is Madhura. Chitraka, Katu Vipak, Katu Rasa and Katu Vipak. Shunki is Katu Rasa but Vipak is Madhur. Pippali is Katu Rasa but Vipak is Madhur. In Virya, we can see that every ingredient is Ushna. Chitrak is Agni, that is very hot. Its synonym is Agni, and all the synonyms of Agni can be applicable to Chitrak. So it is very, very hot, very Ushna, Atyushna. Others are not that much Ushna. So you can see here, its Katuras is Amla and Katuras is predominant. And Vipak, in Vipak, Madhura Vipak is predominant, and in Virya, all Ushna are there, so Ushna is predominant. Here. Attributes of ingredients. Only 3 I have taken here, not all because they are not important in the context of Dadima Divruta. Others are not that important. These 3 are more important. So Ruksha, Laghu, and Snigdha. We can see that Dadima is not Ruksha, Dhanyaka is not Ruksha, Chitrak is Ruksha, and others are not Ruksha. Laghu, all 5 are Laghu. In Snigdha, all the except Chitrak, all of them are Snigdha. Chitrak is Ruksha Guna. So we can say that 4 Snigdha, 5 Laghu, and 1 Ruksha. We have put functions of the ingredients in the tabular form. You can see that this Bruta in the stanza, we saw that Deepanam Swasakasagnam Mudavatecha Shasyate. So we can see here that it is the proof for that, or the reasoning for that. Deepana, it is Dadima, Dhanyaka, Chitrak, Shunki, all are Deepan. Pachan, 4 are Pachan, Dadima is not told Pachan. Grahi is also there, all 5 are told in the Grahi. Rucha, 4 are there, Grahi, Rucha, Chitrak is not told. Where I have kept blank spaces, now I haven't written no, I haven't written N, because it can be Rucha. Chitrak can be Rucha because Agni Deepan हो गया तो Rucha काम होता है. It is mostly related to Agni. So I haven't written N. In Vibandhanut, विबंध का नाशन करना. शुंठी के श्लोक में आया है विबंधनुत. So I have written yes. Why? But Pippali can also be Vibandhanut. But it's not told, it's not written there in the shloka, in the verse of Pippali. So I haven't written yes, but I haven't written no also. So it can be Vibandhanut. Others also can be Vibandhanut. आमपाचन किया, कफ का नाश किया तो विबंध का नाश हो ही जाएगा. इसलिए चित्रक can also be Vibandhanut. So I haven't written yes also, I haven't written no also. Whatever is there in the stanzas in Bhavaprakash and Brihatrayi, I have taken all those things and I have written N. So it can be, there is a space. It can be there. Rudya, Dadima is Rudya, Shunki is Rudya, Pippali is Rudya. Vrushtya, Dadima, Shunki, Pippali are Vrushtya. Rasayana, Medhya, Rechan, Swarya. There also you can see that Dadima and etc. are Rasayana and Medhya. But that is not important in this context of Dadimadhiguta. Now coming to the distinctive attributes of ingredients. After seeing the ingredients, their quantity, their tabular presentation, now we will talk about distinctive attributes of the ingredients involved in this, or which are there in the Dadimadhiguta. Dadima is amla but not Viktakar. Dadima, first of all, Dadima is ahariya dravya. We all know, I think, or if you are not knowing, let it be clear to you now that ahariya dravya are rasa pradhan and aushadha dravya are virya pradhan, and some are there like which we use as spices. They are or sometimes Madhura also, but not Pittakara. Its Vipak is not clearly mentioned in the text everywhere, but we can say that as it is not Pittakara, we can say that it can be Madhura Vipak. So I have put it in the tabular form that it's Madhura Vipak. Shunthi is Katu. Shunthi and Pippili and Dadima. These three are, आपको रस का अध्याय याद है? Whatever we have learned from first year, you have to all memorize or remember all the things to understand the kalpa. First year का ज्ञान छोड़ दो, ऐसे नहीं होता कभी. Everything is important to understand the clinical practice also. So Shunthi, Pippali and Dadima, these three are the dravyas which are exceptions one. So Dadima, अम्ल का काम क्या होता है? How is amla rasa? Amla rasa piktakar hai, right? But you can see that Dadima is not piktakara. Shunthi is katu by rasa, but it's not katu ras ka vipak katu hota hai, but it's not katu by vipak. Its vipak is madhura, and katuras dravya are avrusha. They deplete shukra, but Pippali and Shunthi are the exceptions. Then this is important. Whatever I am telling here in understanding Dadimadhiguta is important to understand the efficacy of Dadimadhiguta. So Shunthi is Katu but Madhura Vipak and Vrusha. Pippali is also Katu, so it must have been Katu Vipak and Avrusha, deplete Shukra. But Katu Pippali is having Madhura Vipak and it is Vrusha. So you can see that Dadima, Shunthi and Pippali, these three are the exceptions which are told in Rasa Adhyay. Ras का जो अध्याय है उसमें ये exceptions बताया है. So what does that mean? What is the importance of these exceptions? हमें उससे क्या समझना चाहिए? ये exception है तो ठीक है, okay. What is the importance? So अम्ल रस जो है उसके बहुत गुण है, functions है. अम्ल रस जो है, अम्लो रसो भक्तम रोचयति अग्निम दीपयति देहम ब्रूहयति ऊर्जयति मनोबोधयति, मन का बोधन करता है, देह का भ्रमण करता है, अग्नि का दीपन करता है, इंद्रियों को दृढ़ बनाता है, बल का वर्धन करता है, वात का अनुलोमातम अनुलोमयति हृदयम तर्पयति एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा, भुक्तम अपकर्षयति, जो खाया है उसको नीचे लेके जाता है पचा के, क्लेदयति जरयति प्रीणयति. But as it is पित्तकर, it can't be used in excess. So स एवं गुणः अपि अत्यर्थम बहुत ज्यादा यूज किया तो वो पित्त को बढ़ाता है और बहुत सारे चीजों को निर्माण करता है, जैसे कि कफम विलापयति, पित्तम अभिवर्धयति, रक्तम रूषयति, मांसम विदयति, रक्त का दृष्टि करता है, मांस का विदाह करता है, कायम का शिथिली करोति, काय को शरीर को शिथिल बनाता है. So when you say that amla, दाढ़ीमा is amla but not पित्तकर, you are saying that amla रस, अच्छे गुण जो है amla रस के, अच्छे कर्म, whatever they are you are getting, but the bad effects of because of its function of vitiating pitta, they are avoided. So this is importance of these exceptions. So अम्ल रस और पित्तकर नहीं है. शुंठी कटु है. कटु क्या है? कटु के बहुत सारे गुण है कि स्रोतसों का शोधन करता है. भुक्तम शोषयति, अग्निम दीपयति, चक्षुर्विरेचयति, जो है रोचयति अशनम, कंडुर विनाशयति, क्रिमिन हिनंसति, कृमि का नाश करता है, मांसम विलिखति, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. All good functions of Katu Rasa are there, but because of Katu Vipak, you can see that it Pustum Upahanti, it is Avrusha and it gives rise to Vata diseases. As we can see that about Shunki and Pippali, they are Katu, but they have Madhur Vipak and they are Vrusha. So you get all good things of Katu Rasa and simultaneously you can avoid all the bad effects of Katu Rasa here in Shunki and Pippali. So they can be used a lot in many kalpas. You can see that they appear in many kalpas, Shunki and Pippali. Shunki is Grahi and Vibandhanut, that is the distinctive attributes of the ingredients. Shunki जो है the Grahi and Vibandhanut है. So apparently it is like Grahi looks opposite of विबंधनुत. So विबंध का नाश करना और ग्राही ये एक साथ कैसे हो सकता है? How it can go together. So ग्राही is a function, actually it is told in Bhavaprakash also. ग्राही is a function on mala. Mala अगर पतला है, पूर्विशय is a liquid. So अग्नेय गुण बाहुल्यात, आग्नेय गुण होने के कारण तोयांश परिशोष्य, उसका तोय जल का अंश का शोषण करता है, इसलिए वो मल का विबंध करता है, मल को it stops the loose motions, it stops the अतिसार. And विबंधनुत is not, it's a different thing. शक्तिर विबंध भेदेस्य यतो न मलपातन, it is told in Bhavaprakash. शुंठी की जो शक्ति है वो विबंध भेदन में है. It can break the vibandha, the obstruction, but it doesn't have a shakti, it doesn't have a capacity of malapatana. So those two things are different. Those two things look opposite, but they are not opposite, and both are important in this context of Dadimadhigruta. Grahi and Vibandhanut, because you can see that the Dadimadhigruta which we are seeing is Mudhavatanuloman. मूढ़वातानुलोमन क्या कब होगा? मूढ़वात कब होगा? When will मूढ़वात take place? मूढ़ा is confused. So वात कब confused होगा? It will flow in another direction, which is not flow in the direction which is it is expected to flow. So when it will have vibandha, it will have some obstruction, say of ama, of kapha, or some another vata. So it breaks. Shunthi can break this obstruction, भेदन कर सकती है, विबंध का नाश कर सकती है, and it is useful in मूढ़वाता अनुलोमन in this context of Dadimadhigruta. The next thing, very important thing, is Ghruta, Sauskaranuvartan. This Ghruta, Sauskaranuvartan of Ghruta is not important only for Dadimadhigruta. It is to understand this Sauskaranuvartan is important for all the Ghruta Kalpanas. So what does that mean, Sauskaranuvartan? Sauskara Anuvartan. There are two words in Sauskaranuvartan. Sauskar, what does that mean? Sauskar is Gunantaradhanam. Sauskar is Gunantararopan. So you are putting another attributes on a dravya. एक द्रव्य पे दूसरे द्रव्य के गुणों का आरोपण कर रहे हैं आप. वो you are putting them, आप रख रहे हैं वहां पे. So when you are putting such another attributes, it may be obvious that if they are opposite of each other, जिस पे संस्कार कर रहे हैं और जिसका संस्कार कर रहे हैं, संस्कारक द्रव्य and dravya which is being processed. If they are opposite, they will have a fight in them and one will survive. This can happen, but this doesn't happen in the case of घृतक. घृतक में संस्कार के अनुवर्तन का गुण है. So what does that mean? संस्कारक द्रव्य चित्रकादि, स्पेशली यहाँ पे लिखा है चक्रपाणी की ठिकाणी, चित्रकादि गुण अनुविधाने अपि सर्पिर्न स्वगुणान् स्नेह शैत्यादीन जहाति. So the घी जो है, घृत जो है, that doesn't leave the qualities of own itself. So it carries the qualities or the attributes of the dravya. Same, it may be chitrak also, which is very hot, which is very dry. So the attributes of chitrak are very much opposite to that of ghruta. So it carries the samskara of chitrak and it doesn't let the attributes of itself get destroyed or get lessened. खुद के गुण कम न करते हुए, उनका विनाश न करते हुए, it can carry, ये carry कर सकता है संस्कार द्रव्य के गुण. So if at all you are processing it with chitrak which has opposite gunas, both the qualities of chitrak also and ghruta also